All right, everybody, with PhytoMAX-3, we introduced a dimming system. When you get any PhytoMAX-3, there'll be two outlets on the top. One will be this for power. It's going to have 3 conductors, a ground and 2 other lines. This is the data. This is for dimming. These are both watertight locking connectors, but this one, the smaller one, is for dimming. The main thing you need to know is we support standard off-the-shelf 0 to 10 volt dimming. If you already have a 0 to 10 volt dimming system, you can drop this system right into that and use your existing one, or you could buy any standard 0 to 10 volt dimming system off the shelf. That is not pulse width modulation or digital dimming. It is 0 to 10 volt dimming. As long as your dimmer supports that, you'll be good to go. So the only other component you really need to dim is one of our connectors. Once you plug this in, this is your positive, this is your negative or neutral. If you get these to the right lines in your dimmer, it will allow dimming. This is a 1-foot pigtail. This is the most basic component we have. If you have this, you could use your own wiring or do whatever to make this connect to your dimming controller. But as long as you get that to positive and that to negative, you'll be good to go. Now, what we'll go over is our entire system for connecting these wires so that you can connect them easily, securely, and in a waterproof fashion. So first, we're going to go over hooking up one light using our system, and then we'll go over hooking up multiple lights using our system. All right, so for setting up a single light, let's say in a home grow environment or a tent or something, again, you need a single connector. So this is our standard 1-foot pigtail. It's got loose ends at the end. I could plug that directly in, but most cases we know my controller is going to be outside of the tent or a few feet away. We sell an 8-foot or a 20-foot patch cable, which again, all this very simple. Push it in, arrows, locks. That's not coming out. It's watertight. Then I simply plug the 1-foot pigtail into that. I find the arrow, align it with this arrow, clip together. Now this is my active end, and I can plug this into my controller outside of my tent or about 9 feet away from this light. Again, we sell an 8-foot and a 20-foot version of this, depending on what you need to do. But either way, I'm just trying to get these wires to my controller. Again, 0 to 10 volt dimming, positive and negative or neutral. And that's all I need to set up a single light. Okay, everyone, now we're going to go over setting up 3 lights. This could be 3 lights or 300 lights. It will all work depending on your controller. You need to have enough power behind it, but the connection is the same, whether we're connecting 2 lights or 200 lights or 3 or 300. So we're going to have the very first light in the string. I don't need a T. I've got my data connector. I've got my my patch cable that I'm going to use to connect lights. Clip that in. That light is now connected. Now I stroll over to my next light. I've got an 8-foot cable. Again, we have 8-foots and 20-foots, and you can connect these to make even longer ones. But now I get to this one, and I need a T because I'm going to connect this in line. So I can either have a 4 or 8-footer or a 20-footer between here, but I need this T to connect here. Then I'm going to simply find my arrow and connect that. Now this light is in line. I connect my other one to continue on to my next light, whether it's light 2 or light 20. Connect there. Again, I'm using a standard 8-footer in between. And again, I need a T. I want to hook the T up again. Find my arrow here. Connect that. Now, let's say this is the last light in the run. I'm going to, for demonstration purposes, use another 8-footer, but you could hook a daisy pigtail right up to here. But I'm going to assume my controller's somewhere on the wall, a few feet away. So I'm going to hook up a patch cable. And then I grab one of our final 1-foot pigtails, get to the end of that patch cable, connect that. Then this plugs in, again, positive and negative. If you have any questions about how to do anything I just demonstrated, know that Black Dog is here to support you. We are all about the support. Please do not hesitate to contact us with questions or concerns. Okay, so we've just gone over how to connect one light or multiple lights, whether it's 2 or 200, we've covered that. And now we're at our last light, and we're gonna cover how to actually get it connected now to your dimmer. And we'll speak in somewhat general terms because everyone's dimmer is different, but I'll clue you into what you need to do. One thing I'd point out before we move on again is all these connections are locking, and that once they're connected, they don't come off until you release them using the collar. And they're watertight. So if water gets on here because you're doing something, it's not going to seep into all these and short out your dimming system and ruin your grow. So I am at my final light here. I've got a connection. I could hook directly to pigtails or anything, but either way, I need to connect something to that to get away from the light to get to my controller. So I've got an 8-foot patch cable with just the end on the back. Now, let's say this is near my dimming controller. What I need to do is plug pigtails in here to get into my controller. What I've got here to show you are 2 versions. This is the pigtails we sell. This is how you'd get it. Again, black is positive, brown is neutral or negative, and that's what you need to get to your controller. If your controller doesn't take bare wire, which some do, some don't, you can have an RJ11, which looks like an old phone jack, for those of you old enough to remember that, or an RJ45, which people think of as an Ethernet connection. It doesn't matter. As long as you find out which pin on your controller is positive and which is negative or neutral, you just need to make sure the wires get into that pin properly. Once you do that, then you could plug this into any controller or into the correct controller, and it will work for you. So if I had this, I'm going to take this one with just the bare pigtails and show you. I would plug it into my final piece of the run. Now I'm near my controller. This controller I'm demonstrating with off the shelf is a 0 to 10 volt dimming system, of course, and it's nice in that it has both an RJ, they call it an RJ14, just the number of pins in there, but again, it's like a phone jack, and they also have a positive and negative dimming. So here I don't need to use the other little adapter. I can literally get these wires and secure them into these 2 holes, and this would actually work perfectly as my dimming controller. If I don't like that, or I don't have that and I just have the RJ14, once you learn from the manufacturer of the dimming controller which are positive and negative, and you have that set up, then I can do this, and now I've got this working. Of course, I wouldn't use both. I would use one or the other in this case. Some dimmers support both wire and a control connection like that. Either one will work. That is what you need to do. Again, if this is your first time playing with a dimming system or setting up a dimming system in your grow, do not hesitate to reach out to Black Dog LED. You can chat us up on our website, hit us up on social media, or call us at 720-420-1209. Happy gardening.